We've got Ramesh, the MD and CEO of HDB Financial. On the day of your listing, 12 to 13% listing pop, as they call it in the market. So, how are you feeling? What exactly are you seeing? I mean, earlier we were talking. You said you were a little bit relieved now that this part of the journey is over at least.
Right. So this is the largest NBFC IPO till date, 12,500 crores. I'm also told that this is the largest amount of applications for $1 billion plus IPO. So first of all, thank you to all of you and to all the people who showed faith in our company. Thank you very much. Our company is fundamentally very strong, and we believe that we have an ability to ride through cycles, make sure that our business works well.
I want to also talk to a little bit about this, the pricing discussion, right? Because that is a discussion that took center stage when you first announced your IPO. It's between 700 and 740. Now it's listed at over 830. I wanted to get a sense, this is probably where your unlisted shares were also trading, before the IPO announcement came in. Do you think that maybe this is sort of validation for you as well as those people outside who are dealing with a very small set of shares but still pricing the company at a certain level?
So our focus is on making sure that we create long-term value for the company. The process that we ran for discovering the price at the IPO, we believe is the best practices that the industry follows, which is talking to investors, talking to anchors, and talking to bankers. So that's been done. And I think our focus as a company now is to make sure that we deliver the right level of corporate governance, deliver the right level of value to the stakeholders over the long term. We're a 17-year-old company, we're not a startup. Our focus has been on making sure that we have the right building blocks and make sure that we're building the company the right way.
So now the June quarter has ended. You're in a couple of weeks, there'll be time for you to report your first quarter results as a listed company, right, to the broader market. What are you hoping to deliver?
So, we have the timelines, we have a June deadline, and we're already on 2nd July, so we'll make sure in the next couple of weeks we put out our numbers.
In terms of numbers, what are you hoping to deliver?
I said we have fundamentally strong long-term growth story. That will be intact.
Okay. I want to ask you a quick question around the current macroeconomic environment. While there is a lot of optimism, there is also a little bit of fear because of the uncertain global scenario, some amount of growth slowdown that has happened in the recent past. Does that show up anywhere on your business, in your business at this point in time? Are you seeing any kind of signs of a maybe slowing economy, or maybe or are you seeing the reverse, which is that things are actually looking like they're going to pick up?
So again, it's a business that goes through cycles, right? Our business goes through cycles, whether it's commercial vehicle sales or whether it's consumer sales or whether it's enterprises. When India grows well, there's demand for more capital. When India is growing slowly, obviously capital demand comes down. Is something that we're acutely conscious of, which is why we have a product portfolio approach, which is to say that which segment of the economy is likely to do well over the next 12, 18 months, and can we allocate more capital to that business, and so that we can ride out cycles. I think over the last 17 years, we had at least 2-3 major events that we can talk about that we successfully rode through. Something that, again, can't really give you guidance for a quarter of a year, but what we are sure is that our business is strong, capable of riding through cycles. We monitor it on a real-time basis.
I don't want financial guidance, but just a sort of flavor of the current macroeconomic scenario. Are you seeing more reasons to be happy about growth?
So there are signs that things are looking good. For example, I think monsoon is expected to be good this year. Some of the challenges that we have had last year, for example, was extreme heat. We didn't have that challenge this year. So those are things that we monitor. We monitor primary equipment sales and vehicle sales. We look at how much of cash flows really happening in the market. As I said, we are a company with deep distribution, presence in 1170 cities. So we have a real sense of what's really happening in the market, and we keep fine-tuning our business strategy to make sure that we are actually addressing the micro market, not at a country level, but at a micro market level.
There's a lot of focus around also where the regulators' approach on bank-owned NBFCs is, right? Because of the draft guideline that is there in place, we don't have any visibility on when the final guidelines are coming in. But does that play into your future planning strategy at all?
So as we speak, it's a draft put up for discussion. With the IPO, the bank has actually managed to come to a 74% stake, which means that we met our minimum public listing compliances. So As we speak, the company will continue to be a subsidiary of the bank. As the regulatory landscape evolves, maybe we'll have to look at what are the options that we have.
One of the comments I was listening to what Shashida Jagdishan, the MD of HDFC Bank, had to say earlier today was that feels like their child has grown up now and then taking on the world at large. When you're seeing the relationship between the company and its parent, I know that there is no real business relationship between the two.
That's right.
But the fact is that they are a majority owner. Do you think that will also evolve now that you're a listed company and you will have your own compulsions as well going ahead?
Right. So I think the benefit of the bank has been really patient capital, right? I mean, they started the company in 2007. We're listing in 2025. So patient capital, certain standard of corporate governance that's expected out of HDFC group of companies, a certain framework in terms of how you manage your customer and your stakeholders, and your risk management processes. So that we expect to continue. We don't see that changing at all in terms of the ethos of the organization. But as I said, it's an independent business. Together with HDFC Bank and rest of the group companies, what we really hope to do is to address as many Indians as possible through our financial products which are of value. That will continue.
Okay. Is there a goal for expanding your market base at all, or are you happy with where you are? You have 31 states and you're present in all of them, and the presence is wide. But maybe because of business compulsions, do you think that maybe you need to tweak that at all in any fashion?
So, how many branches we put up, how many distribution points we put up is really a function of what we think is the core business strategy that we have. Now, one of the exercises that we do is actually look at primary sales of things like consumer durables, mobile phones, two-wheelers, and look at the tail and understand where is the growth coming from and how do we work with our partners to maximize their value. And that's, we don't think that the market is saturated yet. We don't think India is at a state where we've reached saturation. Right. So that will continue to happen. We'll continue to look at new ways of delivering products, at a value to our customers. That will continue.
Well, I want to ask you one last question. 2007, when you were in that conference room with Aditya Puri deciding on what this company is going to look like at the end of it, now 18 years or later, is this close to what you had imagined, a 1 lakh crore book in 18 years?
So, it's a journey. It's really not a goal. It's not an end we have in sight. But I think what we had very great clarity is that we will address a segment that's distinct from the bank, aspirational India, and I think that's something that we have built over the years and managed to deliver growth consistently and through cycles. I think that's something that we are very proud of.
All right, Mr. Ramesh, thank you so much for joining us on this conversation, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.